I don't just want to be speaking fiction, but using real life scenarios to draw a conclusion, to tell you that you that is listening to me, whether online or right there at the hall, you can make it in life. Now, I want to tell you this: your background is not your boundary, it is your launch pad. Your background is your advantage. You can tell yourself, I'm going to change this narrative and recreate the path for my generation. At times, it's unfortunate when we have events like this. You see, young people don't come out to attend, to listen to events like this, despite the fact that it's free. But if a particular superstar or an actress or a musician was to come there, you see that place would have been packed 3-4 hours before they arrive. Outside, people will be paying money to attend. So the question now is, what do we really want in our generation? And at times you see young people always telling you, my father is poor. My auntie refused sponsoring me. Who sponsored your auntie? Who sponsored your uncle that you're looking up to? Some of them, they came out from the doldrum. They came out from a very poor background, and you all have the advantage today. You have the advantage of social media. You have the advantage of technology. You have the advantage of network, of connecting with people. So you don't have an excuse. So like as a scientist, the pharmacist, the researcher, you're not just a student. You are the first line of defense against Africa's greatest health challenge. Talking to the co-partner of this event now, the pharmacy student. So I also asked, why are we still waiting for the ways to solve our medical problems? It's a question that we ask ourselves. Why are we still importing drugs from India, from China, from other parts of the world? Why do we rely on these imported drugs to treat malaria, sickle cells, typhoid, fibroid, or even snake bites, when these are all African diseases, deeply rooted in African conditions, affecting African people? So I'm tailoring this down now to the student, the pharmacy student. Is it because we lack the intelligence? No. Is it because we lack the lab? Possibly. But more dangerous is that we lack the belief. We lack the grit inside us. What do you believe? When you wake up in the morning, what do you tell yourself that you are? Who do you tell yourself that you are? There was this a particular time we had this I think it was a meme that was flying across the social media sometimes, that a cat was looking at himself on the mirror and he saw a lion, you know, telling himself that this is who I'm supposed to be, this is where I'm supposed to be. Do you look at yourself and tell yourself, I'm going to be the person that will bring a solution to the problem, a particular health problem, a particular outbreak, virus, or whatever that is disturbing Africa? This. I don't really want to stay much on that. We want to look at global impact is built on local relevance. Every global impact is built on local relevance. We are not here to run away from our local realities. We are here to transform the Marel Canis company that we found. We didn't just dream about global impact. We began by solving local problems: how to make rice farming profitable again, how to make livestock feed affordable, how to help women and youth stay in agriculture through technology and dignity. Today, our solutions are not just only lifting income locally, they are attracting global partners and investment. So from the rice, we produce rice, we have a rice mill, a 50 metric tons per day rice mill. We used to have lots of byproduct and waste during the process of processing rice. And one day we sat down and said, why are we always throwing away these things that could be of help? We sat down, put on our thinking cap, brought animal scientists, veterinary doctors, came out, and we were able to develop a solution, a supplement from rice bran, from rice byproduct, feed, animal livestock feed from rice byproduct. From the beginning, from the parboiling, the water that you use in parboiling water, parboiling the rice is not wasted. We use it to water vegetables at every point, from the byproduct, the rice bran, the rice husk, the breakings, everything is being used locally and is supporting our local economy. So what am I saying this? Why am I saying this? Wherever you find yourself, look at the problem that you can solve with what is available with you. The world listens when you solve real problem. Impact is what the new currency. As I wrap up, your journey may start in this classroom, in this seminar or workshop that we are finding, but it shouldn't end here. Whether it's publishing your first journal article or designing a clinical trial, every experiment matters. What you're learning now can shape the health of 1.4 billion Africans and influence the world. The lessons for the journey, as you step out of this workshop, I want to leave you with 3 reminders. One, never underestimate the power of small beginning. A single hectare of farm can grow into a commercial enterprise with proper vision and training. Local idea, well executed, can shape global food systems. Skills are the great equalizer. Whether you become whatever you become, ensure you develop skills. Thirdly, impact requires community. You will go fast alone, but you will go further together. Build with others, join cooperatives, collaborate, join network. You have opportunity for programs like this, events like this. Ensure you join. Some of you don't stay away from social media at this point. Listen carefully to all what the participants, or sorry, the panelists and all the guest speakers, what they'll be sharing with you. It's something that will be of value to you. Now, in conclusion, so today I challenge each and every one of you to write your own chapter, whether your roots are in a local classroom or a rural farm or a lab. You are not defined by where you start, but by how far you are willing to go. You are not defined by where you start. You are not defined by where you start, but by how far you are willing to go. The world is waiting not for perfect people, but for authentic problem solvers. You can change the story, but it takes more than a degree. It takes more than a master's degree. It takes more than PhD or whatever. It takes audacity to say, I will stay and build. Audacity to ask, why not us? Audacity to fail, to try again, to research longer, to publish more, and to turn thesis into therapies. And at this point, I want to thank Engineer Augustine Chukwemeka for empowering young engineers, and to the Academy of Scholarship and Transition, the Young Researchers Forum, the panelists and organizers of this invaluable program. And to all participants, I wish you a successful outing and lasting impact from this experience. Thank you so much for having me, and have a fantastic and a wonderful time. Thank you.
I will be one of the moderators today. I am Ihan Acholi Lian, a 400 level student from the Department of Pharmacy, Faculty of Pharmaceutical Sciences. And with me here is my co-moderator, and she'll introduce herself now.
I am Obiako Geshku Stephanie, 400 level pharmacy, and nice to meet you all.
Okay, while we wait to start the panel section, I will just encourage us to keep a high spirit, please. This section is going to be very hot. If not for anything, that I'm sitting down here, I'm going to make it very hot. I have very, very hot questions for these people. And those hot questions are not benefiting me alone. I have you all, your interest at heart. I have very hot questions that when I ask them and they answer, you will gain and I will gain. So please, let's keep a high spirit and be ready to learn. Please be ready to learn. Don't sleep, oh. Please don't sleep. Fight cold, fight sleep. You need this. If you come here all the way from your house and you don't get anything, it will really be bad. It will be bad. So please grab one thing, two things, even have. Just make sure you grab something, okay? So let's wait for them to finish with the systems. We'll start with okay. We have six people on this panel section, and we all saw the flyer for this event, right? And when you look at their faces and look below their names, you will see that they are really great people, very, very big people. So we start with reading their biographies. Reading their biographies, that's telling us about them, a little about them. We won't be able to read all because these people, they are too big. If you start reading everything about them, you won't finish reading it. So we'll just read a little about them. So at least you will know a little about who is talking to you. Maybe at the end of the day, you can text them on social medias and you can know them more, or even reach out to them through the social medias. Okay, I'll start with Mr. Goodluck Amede. And he's joining us from Canada. So he's not a Nigerian person like you. So that's why you should be ready to learn. He's not doing Nigerian things. Okay, so Mr. Goodluck is joining us from Canada. Mr. Goodluck has a background in oil and gas engineering. Mr. Goodluck is a project management leader who works at Parkland Corporation. You know now, this Parkland Corporation is going to be outside the country. It's going to be in Canada. It's not in Nigeria. So this Parkland Corporation is one of the leading oil and gas companies in Canada. Before that, he worked at Skidner Electric Nigeria for a few years, one of the largest energy management companies in the world. He's originally from Nigeria. He's one of us. He's a Nigerian. Moved to Russia under a fully funded scholarship for his bachelor and master's degree, where he graduated with distinction and first class. He graduated with this, not in Nigeria, in Russia, he graduated with distinction and first class. He is particularly interested in leading IT projects within the oil and gas industry. He has managed projects worth billions of dollars, including data center maintenance for national oil companies in Nigeria and Ghana, implementation of energy management control systems for the largest oil and gas multinationals, including Chevron, SAP implementation, Salesforce implementation, mobile app launch, Windows upgrade, network infrastructure upgrade, audio visual system upgrade, POS system and computer upgrades at over 1,000 gas stations in Canada, US, and the Caribbean. Hey, Timo. Why are people not clapping? Did you hear what I just read? Okay, there's this one fun fact about him, and that is that he learned to swim from YouTube. How many things have you learned from YouTube? Some of us even open YouTube just to watch movies. We don't open it to learn. But this man learned to swim. After getting all these things he has gotten, he now opened YouTube to learn to swim. Okay, thank you. That is all for Mr. Goodluck Amede. And then I will pass the microphone to my co-moderator. She will be reading one of the biographies of the panel members for us.
Okay, I'll be reading the biography of Dr. Regina Ofori. She's a doctor of artificial intelligence. That's for those of us that like tech. I love tech. I do tech. So seeing a woman in tech, I'm sure that you'll be excited to meet her today. It's not easy for a woman to be in tech. She started her journey in Ghana, and now she supports an innovative AI research at Robert Gordon University. She's joining us from the United States. That's all we have on her bio now. Thank you.
Okay, we'll go over to the next person. Be listening, though. We have Ghana, we have United States. The next person on the list is supposed to be a lady, but let's do this a man, lady, man, something. So I'll just go over to the next person. And the next person I have here is Edwin Ahaka. Okay, Edwin holds a master's degree from Royal Holloway University of London. We have Canada, USA, London. A specialist in information security and computer hacking for investigation. He founded and runs Kulan Limited. He joins us from Abuja, the capital city of Nigeria. Okay, we have someone joining us from Nigeria, but shall not say he don't do something for London, but he's joining us in Nigeria. So bring your spirits up.
I'll be telling us on the biography of Dr. Emmanuel Eze. Dr. Emmanuel Eze is a geography educator, a disaster researcher, and science communicator. He's a proud product of scholarship. He's a proud product of scholarship at every level. Dr. Emmanuel has completed his bachelor's degree in Nigerian Suka. So this is someone that is not London, Canada, at least is one of us. He has been here. He's a student of UNN. He was a student of UNN. So he has earned a second master's in climate science with a perfect CGPA from Merkel University, Ethiopia, and he's recently completed his PhD in disaster risk education at Heidelberg University, Germany. He's a researcher. His research has led to over 30 peer-reviewed publications and collaborative projects. Beyond academia, Emmanuel is the founder and lead consultant at Spark Hope Educational Consultancy Service, where he helps students, researchers, and the organization navigate pathway to impact innovation and opportunity. He's joining us from Germany.
Okay, then I'll go over to the last woman on my list today. And her name is Iboko Rosemary. The other name is her native name, so I don't know how to pronounce it. So maybe when you go online, you find out the name. Let me not spoil her name. Please pardon me. And there's something specific about this woman. So I checked her LinkedIn page, and the first thing that came out of my mouth was God when. Let me tell you what one thing that is spectacular about this her LinkedIn page. She has 3 languages. That Igbo and Nigerian language is not among them. English is the only language I know there. Then the other 2. Then please go and check it. Meanwhile, let me read her biography. Rosemary is an oil and gas engineer, a PhD scholar of the Petroleum Technology Development Fund, a former master's degree scholar of the same organization in France, and a bachelor's degree scholar of the Federal Scholarship Board of Nigeria. She's joining us from Glasgow, United Kingdom, where she's running her PhD. So please check this woman very well. Just check her. Check her. Don't forget. Thank you.
We're giving us the biography of Mr. Freddie Bilombo. Mr. Freddie Bilombo is an alumnus of the prestigious Chevening Scholarship. I don't know if most of us are aware of Chevening's scholarship. Mr. Freddie is an environmental specialist with an environmental specialist with a robust focus on climate change, adaptation, sustainable land use, and community resilience across basin and beyond. Mr. Freddie is currently engaged with the World Bank. He has led strategic initiatives aimed at integrating natural capital accounting and facilitating climate financing, enhancing stakeholder dialogue for improved environmental governance. With a proven history of capacity building, he has designed and implemented training programs for diverse partners, including government agency, civil society organization. He worked with the International Renewable Energy Agency, involved in developing educational toolkits that empowers young leaders to address climate change and support inclusive, sustainable development. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's all we have on the panel members, people that will be speaking to us today. There are 6 of them, and we've read the biography of the 6 of them, and I hope you are now willing. If you were not willing before, you are now willing to listen to them, because they are not small people. At least for them to come and speak to us, it means they have a lot to tell us. And you know that all these people that are successful, they have a lot to say about their success. They don't just say it anywhere. They say it where they want to say it. And these people are ready to say their own in front of us today. So please, let's. Thank you.
I don't know how many of us here are on LinkedIn. If you're on LinkedIn, you can check up their profile. Their full names are on the flyer. So please, if you're on LinkedIn, can I see your hands? Just a few. Just a few. So if you're on LinkedIn, you can check their profile, check what they do, see what they do, not just for what we say, for what you can see. And I believe that these people are interesting people. These people are people that have once been in our position. So we want to hear from them. We want to learn. We want to see what we want to see. In short, we are here to learn. We are here to get secrets. We are here to get tips on how to be better people. We are here to get tips on how, after campus, beyond campus, what next? How can I be better than apart from what I'm doing here, how can I go higher? So these people are people that have come to campus, that have been a student like us, and they excel outside world. Inside world is different from your academics. Like when you're a student, there's a margin between being a student, and being outside. Like there's a margin between being successful as a student and being successful in the world, in the labor market. So these people are here to help us bridge the gap on how to be successful as a student and also be successful outside in the labor market.
Okay. We're going to start very soon. But I'm very disappointed that they asked who are those on LinkedIn, and I'm just seeing just 4 people's hand from this. At least we're up to 20 here, and I'm just seeing 4 people's hand. Okay, sorry. Who are those on Facebook? Who are those on IG? Who are those on Twitter? Who is reading pharmacology? What is happening? People are not doing anyone. Who is sleeping? Please, please, we have to be somewhere. You cannot be hot nor cold. You can neither be hot nor cold. You must be one now, please. You must be one. If you're not on LinkedIn, please, this is your call to action to download LinkedIn, please. It's a very nice app. Not just an app. If you're planning to grow, not just around the walls of the university, if you're planning to grow outside university, please download LinkedIn. Start from somewhere. You don't have to have a job. Yes, some people say they go to LinkedIn to find jobs. They go to LinkedIn. People that are on LinkedIn are people that are doing no, it's not Web3. There's something they call them. People that are on LinkedIn are people that are doing freelancing, people that are doing international jobs. Please, you must not have an international job before you are in LinkedIn. LinkedIn will not even ask you, are you internationally inclined? It will not even ask you, do you have an idea about international things? No. You just download it the way you download Facebook, the way you download every other app. Download LinkedIn is very, very important. In fact, every other social media, try and download. And when you go there, don't just be scrolling. Don't just be a scroller and laugh at comedy when you see. No, please do something with your time while you are there. Very important things with your time. Okay, so we're going to start the panel section, the hot panel section. I mean, this whole event, the main thing in this whole event is this panel section. So please get ready, fasten your seatbelts. So we're going to start by welcoming our speakers for today once again. Thank you very much for coming to speak to us. We'll start by asking a question. So we'll start by asking a question, and this question is for every one of our speakers here today. Please, we want to know, what was your early days and education like in this country, in your home country? Because we've read your biography, and some of you are in London, some are in France, some are in Germany, in one place or the other. Even the one that is with us here in Nigeria is not even in Enugu State. It's not even in Nsukka. It's not anywhere close. He's in Abuja. So please, we want to know how what was your early days and education like in your home country? At least take us down the memory lane. Tell us something. Thank you. Well, okay, we'll start with Freddie.
A boy who liked school at the time. So for me, going to school was a bit. My parents have to push me and to wake me up every morning. But later on, what happened? I was more influenced by the story I was listening from my grandparents.
Very much, Mr. Freddie. Please, we'll go over to Rosemary. Please.
Hello,
Yes,
everyone. Yeah,
hello,
so
ma.
yeah, my name is Rosemary, and yeah, I'm from Nigeria. Actually, I grew up in Boko, Benue State to be precise. That was where I did my primary and secondary education. As a child, I've always I was always focus on my education. That's one thing I knew. And at a very young age, I knew that there was something more and I was not going to settle for less. So for me, it's just like having that mindset that there's a big world out there that needs to be explored. Why not I? So yeah. Did we hear me, please?
Okay, thank you. All right, so we'll go over to Mr. God Goodluck Amede. Please, if you're with us.
All right. Hi, everyone.
Mr. Goodluck, are you there?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you all hear me good? Nice. All right. It's a pleasure to be here. I really appreciate this opportunity to speak to you wonderful people. Thanks for the organizers for organizing this. I think it's a very rewarding session, not just for every one of you seated there, but I think I'm going to also be able to learn a lot. And indeed, I have been able to pick up on a few things here. But yeah, so my name is Goodluck, and that's my real name. I'm not in any way related to Goodluck Jonathan. Just in case anyone is wondering. Um, I was born in a small village, not quite a town, a small village in Delta State. Way back, I can remember what life was like. A lot there. I visited a few times, but I can't remember what life was like growing up. So, but yeah, I lived in the village for a few years before my parents got an opportunity in Abuja and decided to move us to Abuja. So that's where I did a lot of my schooling. At the time when I moved to Abuja, I did not know how to speak English. I only knew how to speak my native dialect. So I had to learn English and learn Pidgin. So it was very interesting. Um, I went to my primary school in Abuja, a small private school. I went to secondary school. I went to two secondary schools. The first one was in Abuja as well. The second one was it's a federal government college somewhere between Abuja and Kogi State. And yeah, that was a very interesting time too. I was a shy kid. I didn't like to speak a lot. I didn't like to make friends with people. I wasn't I wasn't the worst academically, but I was also not the best. I was slightly below average. So yeah, that was what life was like. But I had my parents who were very motivating and helpful. So yeah, after graduating secondary school, I went to a university in Nigeria for 1 year, Federal University of Technology, Mina, for 1 year before I left Nigeria to continue my education. So yeah, that was what life was like for me growing up. Thank you all.
Okay, I think we lost connection. Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Goodluck. He's still there. Thank you very much, Mr. Goodluck. We'll go over to Dr. Emmanuel Eze. If you're with us, please.
Thank you. Am I audible?
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir. We can hear
Great.
you. Thank you.
I'm happy to be here. My name is Emmanuel, and I'm from OP in Osaka local government, just close to where you are right now. Yeah, I'm happy to see some people smiling. That's good. Don't be frowning. We can see your faces from here. Yeah, growing up for me was a bit different somehow, very rough. My parents, from a humble background, I was born in Maiduguri in Borno State, and the first spoiler was that I started nursery one at 5 years old because there was no school nearby to where we lived, and that was the initial challenge. And fun fact: the first day I ever went to school, I was knocked down by a bicycle because that was the first time I saw a city. And my mom crossed the road, and I was distracted. And by the time I realized she already crossed, I wanted to run across, and I was knocked down by a bike. Yeah, so that was the beginning of education for me. But I had this inner drive that I'm going to be better than my parents, and the opportunity they gave to me, I will utilize to the best of it. And then came to the time of secondary school. We moved over to Nasarawa State, and I attended the secondary school in Abuja. Yeah, after secondary school, there was a big gap for me because I experienced delay. I experienced delay. And for some of you seated listening to me, you know what I mean. When they say jam you, I experienced that 5 times. And I also struggled with my SSC, and I wrote SSC for 7 times, trying to get credit in mathematics. But I think all of this God's own way to put me on a bit of a slow motion for me to conquer the crisis between my personal purpose and societal framing. This is what I mean. I knew I was gifted to be a teacher, but the society, even now, frames teachers to be like the poorest people, people who are unintelligent. They're the ones who are going to root education and all of that. And that hindered me from pursuing what I really wanted to become in life. And as soon as I overcame that, I broke through. I got into the university, of course, not with low grades, or not with low jam score. In fact, I had 283 the year again admission, and everyone was asking, do you really want to read education? So this is a bit of my story. I feel a lot of times I had delays, but my current state doesn't look like where I have been. Thank you.
Dr. Regina, are you with us?
I am. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much for having me. And just building up from what was said by the panelists. Of course, my name is Regina, and I grew up in Ghana. That was where I was born, in Accra, Ghana, and went to school there, had my primary throughout my SHS up to my bachelor's. And for me, I was born to parents that hadn't been to school before. But fortunately, my mom has been a strong backbone for me when it comes to my educational setting. So she's that kind of parent that would force you to learn, go for extra classes, do a whole lot of stuff after school. So she's been phenomenal in my educational journey. So right after completing my bachelor's, I was also fortunate to have got a straight PhD to come do my doctoral studies here in UK. So that's a summary of my educational journey. And then I believe as we go on, I would unfold other things. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Regina. Thank you very much.
Okay. The second question goes to all the panelists. It goes, what was your turning point? When did you realize you could achieve more? And when was that? Was it during a scholarship, an internship? When did you find and secure such? You hear me?
Yeah, sorry. So yes, I can hear you now. Yes, yeah, sorry, like my network was bad. So yeah, I'm Frenchie. So I was born in Brazzaville. It's a French-speaking country. So my first language is French. And also I had to learn English later on, but I didn't attend like proper English classes. I only learned English with the 2 hours we're doing every week. So this is how I did, yeah. So regarding the turning point, I would say my turning point was in junior high school. And I wake up one day, I receive an official letter from the Ministry of Education. Actually, they wrote to my junior high school, and they were informing my school that I was the best student in the whole state for all the exam. So at the time, I was 13 years old, and I was just going to school like having good grades, but I didn't know that someone can give you an award because you did well. And at this time, the government, they were inviting the director of my school and myself to the capital city. So they flew us, they pay our flight ticket, the hotel. And so I went to the capital city in Brazzaville. There was an award ceremony with all the other like-minded people who were also award winner in their category. And then I realized, oh, actually, it was my first time traveling, all expenses paid. Like I was like, oh, so actually someone can pay you just to have good grades. And it was a good turning point. And going to high school, and so maybe someone can also pay for your university scholarship. And this is how I started working hard. And after high school, I was fortunate. I was awarded a fully funded scholarship by Total Energy, the oil and gas company. So this is how I did my engineering school without paying any fees. They were covering my flight ticket, and I did my engineering school by apprenticeship. And later on, I won like a blog award. I wrote an article who was awarded by the World Bank, and they flew me to Washington. So I travel again for free in Washington, D.C., and fully funded all expenses. And I met with so many people, and those people, they inspired me a lot. And at the time, this is how I thought like, oh, I'm tired of working as an engineer, because at the time after my scholarship, I started working for Total Energy. And so later on, because meeting with people in Washington and the IMF, so I met with people at the World Bank, the IMF at the time. So I was like, oh, maybe I would like to become an economist. And then later on, I got another scholarship to travel to the UK, and I was a chevening scholar. And all those events were like the foundation of what made me think like I can achieve so many things. Thank you.
Thank you. For me, thank you, Fred, and good to hear your story. For me, it was my turning point was from the church pulpit, yeah, it didn't come from a classroom or from some other kind of experience. And somebody was just preaching a sermon in a meeting, and then he just made something in passing about getting a scholarship abroad or getting a scholarship, and that sparked my interest. Oh, so it's really possible that one can get scholarships. And then from there, of course, this was the time when I was in my waiting period, the time when I had to work and keep trying to get admission into the university. And by the time I got into the university, I now began to have an open eyes, open ears, open mind. And this was how I came across a poster in GS building, you know that building, GS building. And it was the poster of Shell scholarship. And although I was an education student and I knew that my course had nothing to do with Shell, and it was it was a bit funny the way I thought, my thinking part about this is how I thought. I was reading education and geography, but because I was still shy as an education student, because of societal voice and noise, in my first year, I usually say I am reading geography and education, putting the geography first. And this was how I encouraged myself to apply for that scholarship. And that was how, after more than a year of applying and forgetting about it, somehow a letter came that I should go for an exam in Port Harcourt, and then I went for that exam. And after that exam, it was an aptitude test with a lot of maths. Maths was my academy from SSC 7 times. And meeting that in that aptitude test, I was really discouraged, but somehow, again, God came through. I give all the praise to him. And after a while, I got an award letter. After a while, I got payment in my account, a huge money in my account. And this was my first experience to experience a scholarship. So from hearing about it to keeping it in the cooler and then acting upon it by having an open mind, my journey began. And from there, I had an intra-African scholarship, which took me to Ethiopia. And from there, I came to Germany for my PhD again on scholarship. So this is why I have my bachelor's, master's, and a PhD, all fully funded by scholarships. Thank you.
To hear from Dr. Regina.
Okay. Yes, thank you so much, Emmanuel and Freddie, for sharing. So for my turning point was when I was in level 100, or Nigerian says 300 level. There was this NGO that came to campus to organize, I think it was this coding session. So for my bachelor's, I didn't do anything IT, I didn't do anything computer science. I was doing biomedical engineering. So when this group came, they were like, they wanted to train some people to learn about Python, to learn, how to code. And I was like, okay, instead of me going to do an internship somewhere, I would like to do that because my undergrad was more of going to the lab, testing cells, working on, parasites, those kind of things. So when I went for that internship for 6 weeks, I was like, oh, this is what I want to do. Like, I was so intrigued learning about, how to program computers. As at then, I was working with Arduino cords, programming. So I was so happy. But I was in my 300 level going to my 4th year and I couldn't make any switch. So the whole idea was for me to complete school and then do my master's program in something computer science. So for me, the real turning point that I think God helped me know what I wanted to do was doing that internship in my 3rd year. And also during COVID, I'll talk about it. So COVID, that season of COVID, it did something to me. Like it really gave me a different perspective, and that's how come today I'm doing something AI related. So in summary, it was an internship I did that got me to where I am and where I am going as well. Thank you.
Can we hear from Mr. Goodluck?
Yes, you can. Okay, those were really inspiring stories. Regina, Emmanuel, Freddie. Yeah, those were really amazing stories. So, yeah, I would share a little bit about mine. I think I had a few. I don't think I had just one turning point. I had a few turning points. I think my very first one was learning English. Moving to Abuja with my parents and learning how to speak English. I think my opportunities would have been quite limited if I didn't know how to speak English. Thanks to my parents for helping me with that. Then the other turning point would I would say it's when I learned that. Okay, I'll just give you a story. So I was in secondary school. Like I said, I was an average, slightly below average student. Once I came back home, that was after the first term of my senior high school. So in Nigeria, we call it SS1. When you get to senior high school, your first year. So I came back home and I had an F9. F9 is a failing grade in Nigeria. So I had an F9 in math. And so my mom looked at my report card and said, "Oh, good luck, you failed math? How? I can't believe you failed math." Um, so that was all she said. She didn't punish me or anything. And then I went back to my room. I was thinking, why does my mom think it's unusual to fail maths? Like it shouldn't be surprising, should it? Does she think I am good at math? And so I went back home. I was like, okay, I'm going to come back next term with a slightly better grade. And I went back to school and I tried to study, and ask questions. And then the next term, I had an A1 in math. And I was like, wow, is it possible to have an A1 in math? And then I came back home, I was excited. I showed my mom, she was happy for me. So that was my next turning point. I realized, oh, with a little bit of effort, you can actually do better in your education. And the other turning point I would say is as I progressed, when I got to, I think the next year, SS2, thereabouts, or towards the end of my SS1, I started to read the Bible more. I started to find the Bible interesting. I started to like to read stories about people, and I realized the Bible contained more story about people than any other book in the world. So I read it. The more I read it, the more I got inspired. I saw people doing great things, and I was like, wow, I could probably also do the same for myself. And I realized the more I read the Bible and understood what it was saying, and I go back to school and read my science subjects, I realized it made more sense to me. I still can explain the correlation between these two things, but I found that the more I found the Bible interesting and read, the more I understood science. Because I was a science student, I was studying chemistry, physics, biology, and a few other courses. So that was another turning point for me. And then that year, they had a graduation ceremony. And there were a few people I admired because they had like very good grades. They always did very well in school. And for some reason, that year, I had a slightly better grade than them. So overall, let's say your cumulative score is out of 100, let's say 74%. I think he got 75%, and I got 76%, something like that. It was like 0%, 0.1% higher or 1% higher. And I got an award. And for the first time I got an award in my life, and I was shocked. Oh wow, I can actually do good in academics. So my dad came and, for the graduation, congratulated me and told me, good luck, there's this scholarship in town. And if you do well, you have good grades, graduate, finish your high school with really good grades, you can actually go study abroad for free. And my eye opened. I was like, wow, really? That's possible? So I went back and I started studying even harder. I made friends with people who were smart, who knew how to, get good grades. And I wanted to learn their tricks and stuff. So, so that was what I did. I tried to apply it to my life. I had never been the best student in my school, not even in my class. But for this scholarship, I basically have to be one of the best students in my entire state. So that was a tough one. I prayed a lot. I asked God to help me. I asked questions. I made friends with so many people who were smart because I wanted their smartness to rub off on me. Anyways, long story short, after I graduated my secondary school for the first time ever, I had the best grade. For the first time ever, I was able to. I was invited to write a scholarship exam. I did the exam. It was tough. I didn't even know I stood a chance. But in fact, I had already registered to go study in a Nigerian university. I was doing my first year. I had slightly given up on the exam because I felt I didn't perform very well. But lo and behold, I got a call one day while I was just going on a stroll, and I was shaky. My hands were shaky. They were like, "Congratulations, you won the scholarship. Come get your papers. Come, bring your passport, stuff like that." And I was so excited. I was so happy. Yeah, so that was how I moved to Russia. That was another turning point for me. Russia opened the world of basically opened the world to me and made me see what was possible. But then that wasn't enough. When I came back to Nigeria to do my NYC after I graduated my master's program in Russia. And during that time, I think I experienced another turning point. I was so when I got to Nigeria, I wanted to do my NYC, and usually with the NYC program, it's like it's called National Youth Service Corps. So the Nigerian government sends you to different places in Nigeria to sort of serve the nation. And you could be in your education, you could be in the education field, health field, whatever. You basically don't have the privilege to choose where you want to go through. Sometimes you get that privilege, but not all the time. And so what I did was I wrote a letter to the NYC headquarters, and I told them, can they post me to Lagos State? Because I felt there was more opportunities there. And it was just a simple request. But they honored my letter and they posted me to Lagos State. And so when I got to Lagos, I was like, oh, wow. So I can make a request and it can be granted just simply, just like that. And so when I got to Lagos, I was like, okay, I'm going to do the same thing. So I went to the official who is in charge of posting people to different organizations. And I went to her office and I said, can I meet with you? And I made a request. I said, okay, I know you guys, it's your, you have the authority to post anyone wherever they want to go to, but I would like to request for you to post me to an oil and gas company, or at least university. That's what I studied. And she was stunned. She looked at me for like a good 1 minute. I was like, okay. And at the end of my uh, program camp session for I think it was what, a month thereabout, or 2 months. I honestly I forgot now. But at the end of the camp session, they actually posted me to an engineering company, and I was like, wow, okay, you can actually ask, and it will be given unto you. You know, so that was another major turning point. That was when I started to get into the field of project management. I was interested in it, and yeah, so that was another major turning point. But I guess the final one I want to share is I was a friend of mine came to visit me when I was in Lagos and told me, "Oh, my brother is arriving from Canada. Can we just go welcome him at the airport?" I was like, "Sure, let's go." So I went to the airport and the brother landed and I greeted the brother. I was like, how is Canada? He said, Canada is fine. I was like, okay, are you studying in Canada? He said, no, I'm just living there. I'm working, but I'm just living there with my family. And I looked at him, I was like, is it possible? You can actually go to Canada just to work without studying? He said, yeah, it's possible. Just go look it up on the internet. I was like, oh, wow, okay. So I went, I did my research, I tried to understand like how the process works and stuff. And I uploaded my profile with the government, and I got a letter from the government inviting me to come to Canada. So that was also another major turning point for me. But in a nutshell, I would say asking questions, learning, connecting with the right people would bring a whole lot of good to you. That was a mouthful, but yeah, thank you.
Oh, okay. My own turning point was first of all, I just want to make a shout out to Dr. Okafor, who is there, who was my teacher at some point. Yes, my own turning point was actually going to the UK and seeing that white people are not different. They don't have superpowers. So that's it for me.
Okay, can you hear me, please?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, so for me, like every other one, like I had a series of turning points, right from the fact that I grew up in a family where my parents are farmers. So it's not like a new thing, like they were not educated. So but I knew there was something more out there than just what I was seeing around me. And the good thing for me, one of my best supporters was my dad. He believed in me, no matter how silly my dreams or how silly whatever I said was. He believed in me totally, and he always supported me. He was always championing me. I can remember even when I was in secondary school, I just decided that, oh, in primary school I was like an A student, like superb. When I went to secondary school, I just told myself, I'm not ready for the fame that good grade gives you. But like, I discovered the first time in my life I took third, I'll be fourth position, I'll be seventh position. I came home. My mom, I could not stand the look on her face. It's not that she was disappointed, but she felt that she missed something, and that turned everything in me. I told myself that no, I'm not going to try this again. I told her she should not worry. The next time I'm going to do better. And that was high. From seventh position, I came out second position. And everybody like, where is this one from? You know? And I went to a boarding school, like most of you here. I went to a boarding school, an all girls school, a Catholic school. And that was when teachers started noticing me, and that was exactly what I'm trying to avoid, basically. But teachers started noticing me, taking me for competitions sometimes, and a lot of things happened. But one thing that made me, like I said, every step of the way I had something to remind me of who I am and my dreams and what I wanted to achieve in this life. I remember in my SS3, I wanted to be a medical doctor. Very cliche, like every other person, right? and my family won't have it because my elder sister tried the same thing. She was at home like about 7 years because she couldn't get into medicine, and she refused to bow down to any other thing. So when I came up with I want to do medicine, they're like, no, you have to do something outside of engineering even, and I wouldn't have it. So I started rebelling in school. That we have already registered for work. Imagine I did like science courses, physics, biology. I was like one of the best students in physics in my class, you know. And the second term when we were about to prepare for WAEC and everything, they were like, "Oh, you have to sit in for." I'm like, "I'm not doing this." So I went back to school and I just stopped like trying. I stopped reading, like, and one thing, God bless my teachers. I stopped doing my assignment. I became very nonchalant towards education, sincerely. And my chemistry teacher in particular, this man, I can never forget. He called, he just did one emergency test, and in that test, I was literally sleeping. He was like, this is not normal. After the test, because of me, I'm sure it was because of me that he even flogged the whole class that did not perform very well. So like, but mine was special. And after he excused everybody, I got a series of beatings that day. I can never forget. He was like, so you went home for holiday? Some boys need to go and tell you that you're beautiful and all that. But like that reset my brain, seeing that someone out there other than my family knew that there's a potential in me, that I could be more. Like it really helped me. So when I finished, I wanted to, like they said I will not do medicine. I said okay, no problem. I went for ABU Zarias and aptitude test or post UME, whatever they call it. I went, I wrote, I can't remember the course I put in for, but I did not get it the second year. I did for our state university. I think they gave me chemistry, but I never went to check that result. Like sincerely, people told me that I got into chemistry education, but like I remember just along because I was looking for. I just knew that there is something. I'll go to cyber cafe, look trying to find at least scholarships. I've never met anyone that won a scholarship, but I knew there was something out there for me because I knew this. I was not going to settle for less. So one of my brother's friends just told me, there's this scholarship. Try it. You have a very good result. Try it, and that's how I got my first scholarship. I'm like, nobody could believe it. My parents could not believe it. They didn't even know when it happened. I just went. They just knew that I told them something. I went to Abuja for the test. One day I was just and I got, like, I went for the test, like let's say February, and I got the confirmation like in May. I had forgotten about this scholarship and everything, but I just knew I was just doing my thing. On a normal day, on my birthday, I just went to a cyber cafe. That was when I met. I was just browsing. My phone kept ringing. Because I didn't even know. Someone then when I picked the call, someone told me that your phone was ringing. I then picked the call. They were like, "Oh, this is Miss Ahmed from the Federal Scholarship Board, Abuja. Am I speaking to Rosemary?" I said yes. Like everything just stood still. I was so excited. She told me, "Okay, come to this." Even when I told my sister, I was leaving my sister then. I told her, she was like, are you sure this is not a scam? I said, no, it can never be a scam. Because then she just, the next day we went, she took me there. She was going to work. She just took me just to the gate and left me there and went. I went inside. That's why I met other students, other scholars and everything. The whole process began and the rest is history. Like brother, like Good Luck said, Russia opened a world of possibilities to me, sincerely. Getting that, it was like a stepping stone. After my bachelor's in Russia, which I did very well also, like I graduated with a first class, a distinction in oil and gas. I came back to Nigeria for my NYC. For me, I was not, I just knew that I was not going to stay. Like I just had that, people were like, oh, trying to get into the oil and gas firms and everything. I was not really interested because I know if I stay, if I get in, I wouldn't want to leave. So I told myself, I've given myself this. I'm going for my master's. Immediately after this, I'm going for my master's. And I had a very particular school in mind for my master's. I told myself I'm going to IFP school or no other school for masters. And the school fees was outrageous. I could not afford it, but I knew that was where I wanted. And lo and behold, that year, after my NYC that year, when PTDF came out, for the first time, they were sponsoring people to to IFP school, like and the French petroleum in school. So I was like, wow, this is my opportunity. I went for I applied, went for the interview, everything went well. I got it in IFP. That was when I was actively, and it's very, very important that we have to understand that your only limitation is you. Sincerely, your only limitation is you. There is a world out there for you to explore, but if you limit yourself, you are already like living a defeated life. In IFP, I've always been an SPE member, but like I never really took time to participate. But I was active in IFP, and this, we were able to secure funds. This gave me the opportunity to travel the world, fully sponsored by companies like Total Energies and Perenco and the rest. I went to Indonesia, I went to Singapore and Malaysia, fully sponsored, nothing. So like, just what did we do? Just visiting some companies and all that. But like, there's a world out there. So like everybody said, I have like there's a turning point at every given time. Don't be stuck in one place, think that, oh, this is it. There's a turning point in every given time. After my studies in France, that was when COVID hit. My contract got cancelled. I couldn't like, so I had to like think outside the box. Don't limit yourself. I did a lot of things. I tried my hands on a lot of things. It could be in church, it could be in the community you are living in. Perhaps you know that there is a lot of things. Don't say this is the way and this is the way you must follow. There is a lot you can achieve when you think outside of that box. You already know that path you've already carved for yourself. And right now I'm doing my graduate research here in Glasgow, University of Glasgow, also fully sponsored by PTDF, which is for me like I said, there is a turning point at each given moment. So don't give up. Just keep believing in yourself and everything falls in place. Yeah.
Tell us what's the steps, the character, your skills, those skills that has kept you in your path of success up until now. So please tell us in less than 2 minutes. Thank you very much. And we'll be starting with Mr. Freddy.
Yes, thank you very much. So the first, I would say, apart from the core skills, I would say you need to have soft skills, and most of the like the most important soft skills, I believe, is adaptability, because the world is changing fast. So you also need to see how you can be like flexible, and also how you can seize different opportunities, because most of the time people, what they do, they only focus on one goal. They don't look at other pathways that can lead to the same goal. So I would say adaptability, audacity, curiosity are the most important skills. So I would stop there.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Freddy. We'll be moving over to Dr. Regina. If you're with us, please, Dr. Regina.
Yes, so adding up to what Freddie said, I think for me the main thing is being curious, right? And knowing then that there's a lot in you that, there's a place for you. So being curious, trying to know more, not settling for less. Like I always say, the world is your stage, there's more to do. And I believe Rosemary said that there's more out there for you to do. And then one other thing too has to do with integrity. So personally, it's part of my core values, and I learned this from my PhD supervisor. So he would always tell me that integrity goes beyond intelligence, right? So knowing then that you are someone that people can trust, people know that when they give things to you, it will be delivered on time, being true to your words, right? So for me, integrity is something that I personally, I won't bend on, because people, how do I put it? Like, your integrity always goes beyond your intelligence. You can be intelligent, but then integrity is vital. And then one last thing that I would add up, I believe that others would also speak on it, also has to do with excellence, you know. So just as the Bible would say that whatsoever you find doing, do it as unto God and not to man. So excellence, you know, God has made us salt and then light of the world. So one other character that I really believe in is doing whatever we do with excellence. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Regina. Let's move over to Mr. Edwin Ahaka.
So I would say for me it's
Please, if you're with
continuous
us,
learning.
Mr. Ed.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we
I would say
can. We
continuous
can hear
learning.
you.
Yeah, staying current trend, trends. Also networking, like keep meeting people who are doing the same thing you're doing, who are better than you, because most opportunities come from people, not even job boards. And being resilient, because the world will test you, but you just have to keep going, despite obstacles you might face.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Edwin. Mr. Edwin. Mr. Okay, let's move to the next question due to time. Let's move to the next question.
Okay. This question is for Dr. Fredley and Dr. Emmanuel. We all know from your biography that you have won some prestigious global scholarship. Please, can you tell us about this scholarship, what they cover, when are they open, and why should any of us here listening today, why should we consider such scholarship that you have won? So we can start from Fredley.
Yes, thank you so much. So I would start with a Total Energy Scholarship. So it's not only about Total Energy, but most of the oil and gas companies, they have scholarships, especially for Africans in the different countries they operate. It's the same from Shell, from Chevron, from Total, from Eni. And even in the UK, actually, when you go to Oxford University, most of the oil and gas company like Shell, the Italian Eni, they offer so many scholarships. So you can actually study even, I have a friend of mine, she studies like a master in global health at Oxford University, but it was with a scholarship from Shell, an oil and gas company. So it doesn't have to be in your field. And most of the scholarships, they open between October and January. And yes, and the other scholarship I won was the Chevening Scholarship. And actually, it was funny before, in the past, my country was not eligible with Chevening. And the first year they opened it to my country, so I'm the first recipient of the Chevening Scholarship in the Republic of Congo. So one of the good opportunity of Chevening is like Chevening open you like a huge network. And like the alumni, you have Chevening alumni everywhere. And most of the time, when you introduce yourself as a Chevening scholar, the chances are high to have someone in your company who is also a former Chevening scholar. And so right now, Chevening scholarship is open and you can apply. You just need, like, they have changed the rules right now. So you need 2 years of working experience after your previous degree. But yeah, so it's an amazing opportunity, and you will also meet so many people who are just like you. You can also connect and start a business with your fellow Cheveners. So this is what I have to say with a scholarship. And if you want to apply to Chevening, you can just follow me on LinkedIn and drop a message. I can still assist you in how to apply and review your essay if you have time. Thank you.
Thank you, Freddie. For me, I have won the Shell Scholarship, which Freddie has just described a similar one. And this was a local scholarship in Nigeria, which funded my bachelor's. And I may not have very accurate information of when this scholarship opened. And my second scholarship to Ethiopia was an intra-Africa EU mobility scholarship. And this scholarship was terminated after my batch. So there was no continuity for that. However, there are many other local intra-African scholarships, either provided by the DAAD, that is the German Academic Exchange Program, and other funders. And we can always find this online. This is actually the season of international scholarship application from July to somewhere October. And the DAAD doctoral research grant, which is what brought me to Germany, also opens around late July and closes in October. Now, I must mention that the foundation of any great achievement is dreams. If you have no dream, then there is nothing that drives you. There is no aim. There is no goal. So your dream is the goalpost to which you kick the ball of your daily life, daily steps in life and decisions. And the big problem is that many of us are too complacent. We're okay with where we are. I was not okay with where I was. I knew there was no one to help me, no one to fund or fuel my dreams, no one to pay my fees. And I had to seek ways to become less of a burden to my parents. And I did this working. For the 6 years I spent before I entered university, I was working and saving money, and God was gracious to me. I bought my laptop. I paid all my fees even before I got the scholarship, and the scholarship took over that. This was my experience. Dream. Without a dream, then you're just a time waster, and there'll be no achievement. Anything you achieve will be by accident, and I doubt if anyone ever makes it in life by accident. So you should consider scholarships if you are in need. I will not compel people, right? Because some people don't see the necessity. Sometimes we talk about it, some people don't care. They look at you as somebody who is just blabbing. And so many people in this room are here because either they know Augustine personally, or they know our host, the Dr. Okafo, who is co-hosting this program, or other people on the platform. They're not here because they have a dream or because they want to, get something that will help them run through life. So for those who are not comfortable with their lives, for those who want to dream big, go for scholarships. And with a phone in your hand, which I guess 80% of the people sitting in that room have a smartphone, with Professor ChatGPT and with the University of YouTube, the world is at your feet. Thank you. It appears we can no longer hear you from the hall. Could you check your device? Thank you. We have lost sound from your side. Just in case you think we can hear you, we cannot hear you at all. Okay, now we hear something.
Yes, we can hear you now.
Mr. Emmanuel, you can hear us now, right?
Yes, we can hear you now, but we can't see you.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Mr. Emmanuel and so
I'm still asking Dr. Emmanuel and Mr. Fredley, what are the financial benefits? What are the financial benefits of this scholarship? How did you prepare yourself for such a competitive scholarship? And to Mr. Fredley, you're a Chevy scholar. So what advice can you give us undergraduates? What do we do to prepare to be able to win such scholarship, to be able to stand out?
Freddie, go first.
So maybe Dr. Emmanuel can go first because I believe that we can learn a lot from him.
You're pushing me ahead now. Okay, because of time. Like I told you, I'm from Opi in Suka, and I'm born to a family of people. My parents were not that educated. I say that with all sense of humility and love and respect for them. But this was their story. And I knew that I needed only fully funded scholarships. Okay, now I will mute them. I have muted them now. So you have to unmute yourself when we are done. So I know I needed fully funded scholarships. Now, what I mean is this: I needed a scholarship that will pay for my flight ticket, that will pay me every month, and will let me just sit and read and study and learn and write exams and do my research. And I just wake up and go without thinking of how do I get the next rent, or how do I pay my next bill, or how do I get the next food to eat. So I needed a fully funded scholarships. There are different kinds of scholarships, partial scholarships. Some of them pay 25% of the cost of your study. Some are only tuition-free scholarships. So they pay your school fees, but you take care of your feeding, you take care of your house rent, you take care of even your flight to the place, to and fro. But for me, I knew that even if you give me a tuition-free scholarship, I won't go and sell my parents to buy flight tickets or pay for rent in other currencies that are always higher than the Naira and all of that. So I only narrowed down to fully funded scholarships where they pay my school fees and they pay me every month an allowance to take care of myself that covers all my expenses. So that's what I went for. Now this is the point here. How did I prepare myself? As an undergraduate, I knew I wanted to do research. So that's why I talked about dreams. It's important to know what you want and where you are going. Secondly, make use of every opportunity. Sometimes there is a call like this. It looks casual. It looks, permit me to use this language, cheap, because there is no celebrity or music or some serious things that appears on the flyer. People ignore it. But things like this are where you get rare gem. I'm sure the people in this room, you may never meet them one-on-one in life. And these are people scattered in different continents of the world and people who have gone to a lot of countries and have seen life. And taking these 2 hours to say one or two things, somebody somewhere will pick up something and begin to dream. And so exposing myself to all kinds of opportunities, learning opportunities, and where there are no opportunities, I created them. For example, between my graduation and going to NYSC, there was an ASU strike. And within that 1 year, what I did was to align myself with my lecturer, who is also a close friend and a mentor. And what I called it, I wrote it on my CV, I called it voluntary research internship. And this is where I sat down to actually practicalize research. To start with, I was the only person who got an A in the research course in my department in our 3rd year. So it validated my interest in being a researcher. I knew, okay, I've been singled out. It has confirmed my ambition. And so when I graduated, this opportunity came up. What happened? I aligned myself, began to learn research, and this was where I wrote my first scientific article. And I also wrote three book chapters from that relationship with this mentor. So in the life sciences, many of you are in pharmacies, you have opportunities. And if you don't know lab work, you cannot excel. You have nothing to sell. to a scientist abroad, because it's more about lab work, especially those in pharmacy and all of that. So developing myself meant I had to learn how to do research, how to write papers, how to communicate, and how to interact, and how to throw myself out to the outside world. I better stop here so that Freddie will continue. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Emmanuel. So what I'm picking for what you are saying is it all starts with a dream. So we have to be big dreamers first. So I really like it, because most of the time I see people telling me, oh, I would like to apply for this scholarship of to be a Chevener. And when you ask them, why do you want to be a Chevener scholar? Because sometimes you have more. I used to tell people you can have a scholarship which is not famous but is fully funded. So it really depends. So that's why you need to be strategic. It's not about the name of a scholarship you are getting. It's about how this scholarship will help you to achieve your dreams. So I remember, for instance, for Chevening, okay, in my case, I got good grades in my industrial engineering, and also, but it was not my grade who helped me to get the Chevening scholarship. It was my leadership experience, because I remember when I was doing my interview, even the panel was so impressed, because they told me, oh, you have already traveled in so many countries for free, because at the time I have already traveled to Kenya, to Ethiopia, to Ghana, to the United States, to press, all fully funded. And they were like, how did you manage to do that? And I was explaining to them, like, I was strategic about my career move and about the fellowship I was applying for. So what I would suggest, you need to volunteer, because volunteering experience is very impressive, because when you volunteer, you learn how to work as part of a team, and also you start building a lot of soft skills you can use to demonstrate your leadership skills. So it's not only about being focused on having good grades. Having good grades is not the most important thing. If you can have it, it's okay. But sometimes volunteering and leadership and community engagement will really help you to build a case, so you can be awarded like a scholarship. So, and also another example, apart from having a dream, you need to have a 5 year or 10 years plan, because if you don't know what you want to do, I remember I was telling people, I know many people that attended Oxford, but they're still jobless even 3 years after graduation, because they were only targeting a school with a scholarship without having, what am I doing next? Because getting a scholarship is only the beginning. And after the scholarship, what are you doing? You see, Dr. Emmanuel was sharing about going from Nigeria to Ethiopia and from Ethiopia to Germany. So because he knew what he wanted next, so he was applying from scholarship to scholarship, because he has an end goal in mind. So you need to have a end goal. And for instance, when I was doing my chevening interview, most of people will tell you you need to apply to many schools, but myself, I only applied to 3 schools. And people were asking me, what if you don't secure a seat with one of those schools? I told them it can never happen, because I pick school with different level. So I was sure at least one school will take me in. But this was a strategy to ensure that my scholarship is already guaranteed. So this is what I did. And during my interview, I remember this guy from the British Embassy. So what the scholarship cover, like Chevening cover everything, your flight ticket, they will pay you a monthly salary. And for myself, they even cover my visa fees. And also because I didn't have a British embassy in my country, so I have to travel in the neighboring country. So they cover my hotel, my per diem, my visa. And also when I went there, I was lucky to meet with a British High Commissioner. So she invited me to have a coffee and British tea. And she was asking me, oh, Freddie, so I heard like you resigned for your job, because at the time I was working for Total. And why are you resigning? Because after chevening, you need to find a job. And I told her, yeah, because I know after chevening, I cannot come back to this job, because the reason I have applied for chevening is because I'm envisioning other type of opportunities, so I cannot get back to my current job. That's why I'm leaving. And she was like, oh, what's your strategy? Because I was sharing with her my long-term ambitions. So, and I told the High Commissioner, actually, After chevening, I would like to work for an international organization such as the World Bank, the IMF, and gain a bit of experience before joining my government. And they were telling me, "Oh, are you sure you can join one of those organizations?" And so I told them, of course, I have a strategy, I have a plan. So as part of my plan, when I was a chevening scholar, since I was allowed to work 20 hours per week, I was doing a consulting job in Germany because of my previous work experience. And this consulting job actually was the one who helped me to land a job at the World Bank. So you need to have a dream, but you also need to think 5 years ahead. What are you trying to achieve? And chevening and other scholarship, most of them are fully funded, so they cover everything, flight ticket per jam. And sometimes they even pay for networking opportunities so you can travel to other cities and meet with like-minded people. Thank you.
Freddy, you've worked in top international organizations, including Total Energies, International Renewable Energy, and now you're working with the World Bank. There must be something strategic that you are doing that many of us will start doing. Could you take us through a summary of your experience in this company?
Yeah, so I would say the first step is, yes, I would say like one of the main, Dr. Regina, she mentioned integrity is a core value. You know, people they need to know that you deliver the work they're doing you so they can trust you. And everything starts with a trust. And also another fact is I have been strategic until now about the career choice I'm making. So I'm like, even though my experience is quite wide, but I'm quite focused because I'm only working basically around the same niche of topic, environment, renewable, to merge it at the same at the same time. So at the end, people they know you for something. For instance, if you are working on things related to health, right now in the field of health financing, you don't have so many people involved. So people should know you. If I go to this person, she's like a guru of health equity. So when people they have something in mind, you are the first person they think about. So for instance, when I was working for Total Energy, I was a project manager working on energy project and also submarine technology. And so I remember one day my manager, he called me, he told me, "Oh, Freddy, these people in Angola, they are very late. They want someone who can deliver, and we cannot complain about the workload. So do you think like you are a person?" And I say, yes. Like the next month I was in Angola because it was a high demanding project and when they were looking for someone who can deliver because they were running late on planning. And with Irena, for instance, uh, it's funny because I only got the job for one of my friends. She's actually a Nigerian. She lives in the Netherlands. And she called me. She told me, "Oh, Irena, they have this job. It was funded by the Italian Ministry of Foreign Affairs." So they told me the Italian Ministry of Foreign Affairs is funding Irena to start a capacity building tool on renewable energy and climate change so we can empower young people in Africa to start their own climate and renewable technology company in their communities. And I was like, "Oh, can you share with me the link?" And she told me, "Oh, no, actually, you cannot apply for the external link. You need a referral." And she was my referral. And this is how I know about the job. And the next day she shared the link with me and I applied. So you really need to build you really need to build something where people they know if I'm talking about disaster risk, let me call Dr. Emmanuel. If I'm talking about AI and health, let me talk Dr. Regina. So people needs to know you about something you can actually do. If you are doing health, don't do everything related to health. You need to focus, okay, in this broad sector of health, what is the niche where I would like to focus and concentrate my efforts. So everything, even the volunteering opportunity you will look for will be in this niche. So you will start building your career around something. So basically, this is what I can share.
I was asking that the World Bank seems far from us. Are there benefits that we can get from programs in the World Bank as students, as undergraduates, and as average persons, that those of us that are not educated?
Yes, I would say actually the World Bank is for everyone. So, and Engineer Ben at the beginning, he told us your background should not define your boundaries. So you need to keep this in mind. So knowing that the bank is for everyone. So Augustine will share a few links because at the bank, actually, we have so many opportunities. The World Bank even offers scholarship, but it's only if you want to pursue a master's degree. They have this famous scholarship. It's called the World Bank Joint World Bank Japan because it's offered by the World Bank and the government of Japan. But it's not only to study in Japan. You can study in the US, in the UK. So every year they update the list of eligible universities. So you can have a look at the Joint Japan World Bank Scholarship. It's fully funded. You can pursue a master's degree in one of the eligible university with the different programs. So they keep changing the programs each year. So you may have a program eligible this year, but the next year is not eligible. We also have what we call the World Bank Africa Fellow Scholarship. And this scholarship is for people with a PhD. If you have a PhD and you are less than 32 years old, you can apply for the World Bank Africa Fellowship or Robert McNamara Fellowship. It's for research. It's a kind of postdoc, but it's 6 months duration. You also have many opportunity for young people, like they offer internship, like summer internship, winter internship. You can apply, but you need to have a TOEFL or ILS. And if you are still doing your undergrad and or master, you can still apply. So there are so many scholarship. And also what I would also say beyond the World Bank, don't only focus about the World Bank. There are so many multilateral development organizations. You have the African Development Bank that also offer internship for African. You have the African Union. You have the European Bank of Investment. You have so many multilateral organizations. If you want to work in the development field or benefit from the opportunity, not focus on the World Bank. You have so many development organizations out there who are also offering the same opportunities. So as Dr. Emmanuel says, it's all about your dream. So if your dream is to get it, you should look at what the World Bank is offering, but also have a look at what other multilateral development banks are offering to young African people. Thank you.
Could you tell us something about research that makes a career in research interesting? And what are the necessary preparations that an African student can start making to succeed in the international research community?
Yes, you're audible.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much for the question. So about research, with doing the PhD, I think one of the many things that would help you thrive, especially in the research field, is, and then I believe, Emmanuel and Freddie already said it. I would say doing something, one, that you love, and two, something that is relevant. Okay. So when it comes to research, I know I'm not talking about the monetary side. I'm really talking about striving, making that kind of impact. It really has to do with something that you really, really love, a field that you love, and then a field that is relevant. So I'll cite an example, and then so say you want to go into the tech space, right? There are so many things you can do, but then the question then remains that, is this something that you love? Because research would really drain you. It would take a whole lot from you. The resilience, having to write papers, writing publications. Sometimes you write and you get reviews. You have to go back to the same thing, doing it all over and all over again. So I would say that doing something that you really, really love, it puts you at that upper hand. And then like I said, buttressing on that point, something that is relevant. So in today's field, so something like AI, right? AI is moving so fast. And I keep telling my friends that in some few years, AI is going to be like a soft skill that people need. And personally, if someone tells me that they want to go into tech, I just tell them, whichever field of tech that you are doing, make sure there is an element of AI, not even the hard coding side, but then there is a bit of AI, because AI has come to stay, and it is a relevant skill that people are poaching others. Yesterday, I was reading the news, and then Facebook offered somebody $1 billion USD just to be part of the team, right? So, in order to strive in today's world, in whichever field that you are, whether in pharmacy or so, just find something you love and something you know that when you are done, it's not going to be outdated, something that will make you relevant in years to come. I mean, in 20, 30 years, within the long stretch, that you are within you know a relevant field. And then finally, it has to do with adaptation, because research keeps changing day in, day out. So also being able to adapt to the evolving changes day in, day out. So I'll just cite you an example. When I was doing my PhD research, I started in a particular field of AI. Immediately ChatGPT came up. I just needed to switch quickly because I want to be relevant in my field. So that's what I would say. I believe that, I mean, the other panelists that are research focused, they have things to add up. Thank you.
My question to you is, you have a passion for computers and tech. Please, can you tell us, apart from your area of specialty in tech, are there other career options in tech that we can go into?
Oh yes, yes.
I don't want to write notes.
So my area is cybersecurity. It's broad. There are different areas we can go in aside from what I'm doing. But there's also the web, the UX and UX, UI and UX design, product management, and cloud and data analysis. Also with AI and all that. Yes. So yeah.
Let me better take over the moderation then. Let's hear from Dr. Rosemary. Eliana, can you tell us 1 minute summary, high point,
Okay.
motivation, closing point that they will go with?
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Emmanuel. Like everyone have already said, like there is a lot of information that I've already gone for. One thing I want to say is that, like I said, you are your own what motivation. You don't need to look out externally, and you have to be resilient. Like we've spoken so much. If you sit and just analyze each and everyone's story here, you will discover that there's something they refuse to give up. That doesn't mean they kept doing what was not working. If you are doing something that is not working, it's very okay to take a step back, analyze it, look for a different strategy. It might be reaching out to someone that has already gone ahead of you. It might be just like taking a step and doing more research. So don't just conclude that there's only one way to your goal. There are several ways. If you are stuck on something that is not working, obviously, it's time for you to take a step back and just analyze it and just strategically place yourself in a better way. Yeah, I think that's all for me.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You cannot keep doing the same thing in the same way and expect a different
Expecting different
result.
results.
That
Yeah.
would be madness. Thank you, Dr. Rosemary, for your parting words. So I'll move to, because ladies first. And yes, I'm a man of ladies. So I have two girls. So I'll go to Dr. Regina Boateng.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Thank you so much, Rosemary, for that. So mine is just, I mean, a scripture that we all know. So in Proverbs, it says that as a man thinketh in his heart, so the man is. So all that I want to say is that your mindset is also a factor, right? And then I believe from everything that we have said, we know that our background shouldn't limit us. The world is our oyster. Like there is much more that God has deposited in us for our world. So we shouldn't settle for less. Like there is much more. Sometimes I read the news and I see 20-something years Asians, like they are building products, 28 years old, 24. Yesterday, the one I read, the person was just 24, you know. So there is so much. And then just as Dr. Eze said, we have Professor ChatGPT. Some of us we even use Perplexity, Grok. There are so many things to us. There is YouTube. So let's utilize all these things and then know that there is much more that God has placed in us for our world. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rosemary. There's a lot that God has placed in us. And let me be a bit preachy. You cannot find your purpose outside of God, whoever you are. And the spiritual always controls the physical. So you need to find who you are from within to be able to influence who you should be that everyone else will see. Thank you so much for that point, Dr. Regina. Now I would go to Mr. Edwin, our tech expert. Can you please give us your parting words, even though network has disturbed you a lot, but I will be happy to hear from you right now.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Mine would be I first of all, I would agree with the ladies and just what you said. But what I would like to add is I would say just network. Look at the people doing the things you would like to do. Maybe check their LinkedIn page, see the certifications they have, see what they studied, see the things they read, see the people they follow them, ask them questions. They might answer, they might not, but that's the way to go. Don't just stop. If you stop, it gets boring. Like you regret that at some point. But so don't just stop. Just push. Keep networking. Just keep pushing. Just keep networking. Someone knows something better than you. Someone is doing something you would want to do. Someone is doing. Someone is where you are not. Someone is where you are not. So just keep pushing. Networking. Now that's what I would say. It's I can't. It's networking. That's what I would say.
Thank you very much, Mr. Edwin. Enlarge your network. And there's a simple tip. What he has just shared now is a secret invisible mentorship strategy. What is mentorship? You look at somebody ahead of you and try to see the path you have taken and follow the same steps to find yourself in the same direction or at the same destination. Now, somebody can be your mentor without even knowing. LinkedIn is there. People have their full profile. You can see where they started, from their bachelor's to all the work experiences, all the certifications that they have. If you sit on somebody's LinkedIn page and study their profile, if their profile is complete enough, it can give you a sense of direction on how to tailor your own journey. Thank you for sharing that, our tech expert, Edwin. And I will move to my friend and senior boss, Freddie. Freddie, over to you. Your parting words, and yeah. Is he here? Freddie? Okay, looks like Freddie dropped. Possibly he had a poor reception. And earlier on, Mr. Engineer Goodluck also dropped. So I'll just drop my own parting word, then I hand over to Engineer Augustine. I will start by saying that you don't have an excuse to fail. Now, many of us here did not have this privilege of going through a webinar like this, but somehow God has helped us to navigate, and we are at the point where we can speak to you. It's a big advantage. So it means you're not starting at ground zero. I never knew anybody in my village, in my lifetime, that won a scholarship before I did. And so there was no guide, there was no map. We didn't even know much about YouTube. I never learned anything about scholarships on YouTube at all. But now almost everybody is a content creator on scholarships in YouTube, and you can find something. That is why I call YouTube a university. There is no skill you want to learn that you cannot learn on YouTube. please invest your data wisely. You don't go and spend data watching porn, watching Big Brother Naija, watching dirty things on the internet, or even wasting your time scrolling through Facebook short, YouTube short, and comedies. Invest your time to acquire the skills. And I used to tell people, if you spend your youth enjoying and watching movies, what will you do when you become old and retired? What will you do at that time? So research, because it will help add structure to your curiosity. And in fact, failure is an advancement in discovery. Like today, I'm sure Engineer Augustine has learned a lot about how to organize Beyond Campus 2026 by the failures we have experienced today. That's the joy of research. And so I would say start where you are. Don't begin to think, I want to go to Canada first. I want to go to Malaysia first. I want to go to those places first. There could be local scholarships right there that will fund your education inside of the University of Nigeria or in another university beside, close by. Start with those ones, because a scholarship is like an added star on your profile. It means this person is excellent. This person has been found competitive. And so it will open the door for the next one. And the next one will open the door for the next one. So start where you are, look for local problems, think of how those local problems apply elsewhere, solve it, and be loud about it. Then the world will come looking for you. And so start from your level 100 and not from level 0 like most of us. And with God on your side, you will be the best and the world will be at your feet, as I always say. And good evening and God bless you. Back to you, Engineer Augustine. I hope you will pay me for taking over the moderation for this period.
Thank you very much to the panel. We sincerely appreciate your time, your words, and everything that you've done for us today. We sincerely appreciate that. And everybody here at the physical location are grateful. Time will just fail us to appreciate you well enough. But before you leave us, we would like to know, just in one word, how do we stay connected with you? Because everybody here might want to ask additional questions, get some kind of mentorship. What would be the best platform to locate you? Good Luck is not here anymore, but I know you can find Good Luck on LinkedIn. I know Freddie is not here now, but we can find Freddie on LinkedIn. The people who are here, how can we find you and stay connected? Just one platform, please. And then we'll call the panel discussion to close. Thank you so much.
You can reach out to me on LinkedIn to just my name, my first name and my last name.
Thanks so much. LinkedIn for Edwin. How do we stay connected?
Same here, LinkedIn for Regina. So just type my full name and we should be able to connect.
Yeah, same here for me, LinkedIn.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, same here. LinkedIn is the professional profile. I never read my Facebook Messenger messages because there are thousands of them. So I advise you too, if you want a serious conversation with anyone professionally, avoid Facebook, maybe Twitter, but definitely LinkedIn, because LinkedIn is the professional social media for the moment. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. A round of applause for our panelists, everybody. And then a round of applause for our moderators. They've done an amazing job. Despite the tech challenges that we had today, we had a very wonderful session, and this session was moderated by two able hands. I want to say a very big thank you to all of you. And this event will be closing in less than 30 minutes. You stay with us online for the remaining part of the event. Thank you so much for joining us today. If you are busy, you can leave now. Thank you so much.
I have another meeting in 15 minutes or 17 minutes. So thank you. So have a good time over there and remain blessed, all of you. And fellow panelists, thank you for coming.
Now I can.
Okay, so I believe your network is very stable. So I will assign the host to you.
That your background comes to play is in helping you find your strategy. Helping you define your strategy. I'm supposed to do a full presentation, but because of time, I'm just going to talk to us. And in helping you define your strategy, because if you started as the son or the daughter of a very big man, that name of or that name of your mother can open a lot of doors for you. But if you started somewhere as son or daughter of a man whose name is not known, woman whose name is not known, then you need to have your own name into history. You need to then become the person who makes your family name popular, makes your family name recognized. And the way I like to explain this thing is that you come from a background. People will say that you should not allow your background to keep your back on the ground. That is to say, your background should not tie you down. You should not be tied to your background. Now, I go further to say that your background should not keep your back on the ground, and that you yourself as a person should work towards developing a back that is bigger than that your background. Let me explain it so that it makes sense. So a lot of people see life and they look at their father or their mother that my father did not do this thing for me, my mom did not do this thing for me. The question is, what are you going to do for the generation that comes after you? And what you do for the generation that comes after you is you building that back that becomes bigger than your background. So your background might be very small, but the background you leave for your children or for the next generation of people from your village should be bigger than the background that they gave to you. And this is not a very simple thing to do. I must tell you, it's not very simple. It's always very challenging in life when you go against gravity. You know, if you come from a very small background, the easiest thing will be to remain there and to keep falling lower and lower. That's when you go in line with the gravity of your background. But if you decide to go against that gravity of your background, then you need to strategize. You need to do a lot of thinking. You need to do a lot of rising up after failing. And when I say rising up after failing, it now depends on how you define failure. Because for me, I look at things that people call failure as efforts that did not produce intended results. So I don't believe I fail in things. And this mindset has been for a very long time, even though I started refining it as I got more advanced in age. But the point is this: you are not a failure because you tried something and that thing did not work. You have just found one way that makes it not work. And then if you look at it from the perspective of this is a way of doing something that doesn't work, then you go back to your drawing board, you go back to your books, and you are looking at it and saying, okay, I was here. I wanted to get here. I tried this, I tried that, it didn't work. Now, what if I follow this other straight line or this other curved lines? You might be trying to get there through a very straight line, but the pathway to where you are supposed to go to is probably a zigzag. And every attempt at that straight line will fail. But every time you make a straight line attempt, you might connect two dots along your zigzag path. And if you continue to put in effort and continue to refine your strategy, you get to that destination eventually. Now, the challenge for you is this: you need to rise to the challenge of rewriting the history of your family. And it's a big call. It's a big call. It would be foolish of me to think that telling somebody to rise to the challenge of changing a family history is something simple. It's very, very difficult to do. But you can do it. And when you have that mind and that inside belief that you can do it, then you start asking the right questions. And that right question is, how can I do it? So we wanted to run Beyond Campus in 2024. That was the first time. And the question was, how can we? It's not about should we. It's not about can we. It's we can. We know that we can do it. But how can we do it? These are two different questions. And when you ask how can you do it, you do it the first time. The second time becomes how can we do it better? You see, when we did this event the first time, I was the only person that spoke for like almost 3 hours. But today we are doing this event the second time, and I'm going to speak for not more than 10, 15 minutes in all from beginning to the end. That's because we have done the first one. We now thought of a better way to do it. And in this first trial of what we consider a better way to do it, we have even learned how to do it better. And if you are not paying attention, I would just say that the panelists and the moderators should be on one platform. That's the easiest way to get all the tech issues sorted, or maybe like 80% of the tech issues. I don't know if we observe that, but that looks like it. Tech people, is that correct? So this is us learning something, and we are refining, and we are getting to somewhere. Because like I said last year, the vision for Beyond Campus is to run it every single year. Just maybe around this time, August, but to run it every year. And we keep learning, we keep strategizing, and Beyond Campus will get to a point where it becomes bigger than myself, bigger than Dr. Okafo. And that's how we leave a background, or we leave a back that is bigger than our background. That is how we are doing it ourselves. And I challenge you to get up to something. There is nothing that you can't do if you set your mind to it. Like I always say, the world is changing. If you listen to Regina, she said she started doing artificial intelligence from one axis. And then when ChatGPT came, I know her very well because she was a PhD student in my school. When ChatGPT came, she was already into the PhD. But what did she do? She moved to large language models, which is basically what runs ChatGPT, what runs DeepSeek, what runs Grok 4.0 by X, and all of those big models. So what they do is large language models. And when she saw the world moving in that direction, she moved on to that direction as well. And it should be dynamic. I think Freddie mentioned something like that as well. Now, in the world in which you live today, I want to tell us something. Yesterday we were here, and somebody said she is shy to speak on stage. I'm not going to point out her now because that will make her even more shy. What I'm trying to say is that everybody in this dispensation, you need to break your shyness. You need to overcome your shyness and the fear to speak to the public. Why do I say so? The world is gradually becoming that platform or that place where influence will somehow dominate knowledge. It's sad to say from an intellectual perspective, but the world is moving to a point where influence might become dominant over knowledge. And how do we prepare for this so that we don't leave the world in the hands of people who do not know anything to be controlling the rest of us, or leave the world in the hands of the wrong people to be manipulating the rest of us? The only way we can do it is to encourage more intellectuals to build influence, to encourage more intellectuals to have a voice, not just have a voice, but to use your voice. So if you are here and you are an intellectual, my challenge to you is two things. Take it from me. Number one is remember that your background is nothing in terms of where you get to. And then remember, you need more intellectual voices that are enough to create influence, to create impact around the world. And in pattern, I would say, learn to show up. I say this often and I repeat it, learn to show up. Now, in addition to your showing up, you need to also learn to dream as though the world had no borders. What did I say? Yes. And the reason you need to dream as though the world had no borders is because the world is your playing ground. And if you restrict yourself to your village, then you won't achieve the best of what you can achieve. Now, think of it this way. If you are a Christian, you think of the assignment that God has given to you. You think of the great commission of preaching the gospel. You will not be able to reach the entire world with the gospel if you preached only in your village. And the way you preach to the world is the platforms that the world has given to you. You have the Facebook, you have the LinkedIn, you have every one of these platforms. Use them very wisely. Now, if you remain in your village and do not think of the world as your playing ground, you will not also be able to achieve the greatest of impact that you can achieve. Yes, there are borders in the world, but think about the world as though they have no borders. Freddie said he went out of the world first by his scholarship, or his country. I went out of this country as well by a scholarship. If I was restricted by the borders of my country, I probably would have finished and graduated from UNN. UNN is a great school. I'm not talking down the school. What I'm saying is this. Think about the world as your playing ground. Your playing ground is not UNN. UNN is too small to contain every vision that God has deposited in you. The greatest of things you can do, you can't accomplish them inside UNN. There is more that you can do outside of the world. Now, as you think of the world as your playing ground, the next challenge I leave with you is walk as though the world is watching. We're all students, so I would say study as though the world is watching. Study as if you are competing against the world. Back in secondary school, we used to study a lot, and those days you finish this like PNOK and Anyakoha and the rest. And when you are done with this textbook, you feel, well, this one is now a local champion. Like I've made myself a local champion by finishing PNOKK, for instance, because everybody in Osaka reads it, everybody in Enugu State reads it. So what's next? Nelcon and Packer. What's next? Nelcon. What's next? You begin to study advanced physics because you wanted to, or we wanted to compete globally. And I can stand here and tell you that all the people I know who were in that category are doing very well. I don't know any of us that is doing badly. And that's why I believe strongly within me that education is still not a scam. There is still something good coming out of education. That's why you, as a student, should study as though the world is watching, as though you are competing against the world. Now, when you fail at something, I already mentioned failure is not really failure. It's an attempt that didn't work. Failure, though, is a part of the process. A part of the process to progress, a part of the process to great accomplishments, a part of the process of becoming who you are supposed to become. Fail as though you are is part of the process. Part of the process, you fail, you rise, you fail, you rise. But every time you rise, you are moving forward, you're getting there. Now, the last thing I want to leave us with is this. Don't ever sit back and think that the best you can do is just for yourself. Don't sit back and think that the best you can do is just for yourself. Learn to understand that outside of yourself, the next best thing you must invest in is developing fellow humans. And that's me today. Because today, we have a whole lot. Thank you much for coming. And before we leave, we're going to hand the floor to Dr. Kafo. I think there are some other things that he will do for us, and then we'll be calling the event to a close. There should be a very slight refreshment, a very light refreshment at the end of this event. I think people are making arrangements for that, so bear with us for a couple of more minutes.
Good evening, everyone. Let me say, I just remember that I'm on a global stage. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone. Some people are looking at me with surprise. There are people who are waking up now. There are people, the world is just a global village, courtesy of tech. And we are keen into that. I want to thank you so much for coming, those who are here physically and those who are joining, from online platform. Welcome. Let me say that I am so excited that the host is my academic son. So you see, when your son is doing well, you are proud. I taught Engineer Augustine chemistry, SS1, from SS1. Yes, that Edwin. I will make reference to him. And I took him to Chemical Society of Nigeria chemistry competition in Enugu State. We came first. Then we went for national competition. It was a tough battle. And what somebody must win. So we couldn't get first position, and we got second position at national. So right from there, he has been a good ambassador, representing what I stand for. Those of you who know me. And I'm also very excited to hear someone mentioning my name on a global stage. Oh my goodness. That means My name sounded and resounded from UK to US to Canada. It was just re-echoing. And I'm actually so happy. Edwin, I thank you so much for that compliment. You are back to Nigeria for good to develop our country. Not all of us will leave. Some people must be here to help our president would develop country. And then, of course, some are destined to leave. And I think most of you are destined to leave, for those who are interested. So, Edwin, I would also want to, either you pay me a visit or I pay you a visit if you're still online. But this is really beautiful. Edwin mentioned something. Volunteering, either Edwin or someone, volunteering and community engagement. Very key. You don't think about yourself. And that's part of what Engineer Austin is doing and what we're also doing in our own little way. That you need to do your all to contribute to the development of humanity. Before I point out a few things I just noted while the panelists were saying a few things, let me at this time say that I'm so excited and I pray for grace upon Engineer Austin to continue this so that yearly we'll be having some of this, we'll be having this beyond the campus. And it is a very key program, especially for this generation. Beyond the campus has to do with everything after leaving school. And because of his passion, if you discover, he lumped so many things together. There is the scholarship part, there is the business part, there is the research part. He brought so many resource persons. It is actually the passion. And probably we may, after discussing with him, see a way of maybe digesting one aspect at a time through other webinars before the annual kind of conference like this, so that we can pick on a particular speaker, engage him for 2 hours, and then get all the stuff from him and be able to also ask relevant questions. But meanwhile, I want to also lend my voice to the panelists and to Engineer Austin that it is possible to rewrite the history of your family, no matter the course you're studying. But some of these panelists they're not doing what they studied now. They, delve into some other aspect and started developing themselves. I can tell you that he has stressed it so much. Your background should not keep your back on the ground. I'm a typical example of that. The first time I slept in New York City, United States of America, I couldn't sleep well for 2 reasons. I wake up intermittently and touch myself. Where are you? It was like a joke. It was like a dream. Of all people, from the poorest family, okay, let me be truthful. We are not poorest, actually. Because the poorest should be the ones that the poor calls poor. When the poor man calls you poor, then it means you are below poverty line. Okay. That was one of the reasons how, and someone also having a vision campus. I've never seen myself as a local champion. I've never, even while I was in primary school. It's a mindset thing, it's a mind thing. Because Regina said, as a man thinks in his heart, so he is. And one of the reasons I couldn't sleep well was, as an African man, I was afraid of the building where they lodged me, 38-story building. and beneath was a hollow 2-lane path under it. I don't know how they did that building. That's two. So when I saw the 2-lane and 38-story building, I said, I mean, that this house should not collapse and fall on me. It's better I stay in my house in Africa, but it has not collapsed. That house has stayed like 100 years or so. So I am standing with all the Engineer Austin to tell you that one day you'll be on global stage and you'll be sharing your own stories. Don't give up. Let me just put one or two things here I picked. Dr. Manuel said, and I quote, it is now becoming a quote, nobody makes it in life by accident. He said it. You must be deliberate. You must be determined. Nobody makes it in life. That's what Dr. Manuel said, and I caught it. And, someone, I couldn't get the name. University education is just to open your mind to limitless opportunities. Opens your mind to limitless opportunities. Most of you are pharmacists, some of you have faculties. You may discover that what makes you great will not even be read. The essence of university education is to open your mind to limitless opportunities. And Rosemary, I think I will still have a personal touch contact with you. She said, the only limitation is you. That's what she said. The only limitation. Poverty is not the limitation. No much money is not limitation. No food on the table is not limitation. It is you. And that thing should be taken into serious consideration and all that. And finally, let me just pick one. I have a whole lot of notes. I wish I had earlier a secretary to put down, mind-blowing and beautiful statements that change destinies. But let me just look at this one. Thank those who bring out the best from you through constructive criticism. And I add this one, I'm flogging in quotes. Do you understand that? Thank those who bring out the best from you through, even it could be destructive criticism or constructive. Let me share this very briefly. One of the reasons I say I must not be poor is because of what somebody said. And I told myself, even if I had wanted by choice to be poor, I can never be poor again. I wanted to marry you. And then the elder sister of that person was querying me, quizzing me, asking me, jam question, why question. So what are you doing? I said, I came back for pharmacy. After getting my master's, I came back to pharmacy. Because I believe it is not how far, it is how well. And then I told her that. She was asking, what are you doing for a living? I said, when I finish this thing I'm doing, I want to be a teacher. She said, hey! She me like I have committed one abomination that the villagers should chase me out of the village. I said, in all the jobs and opportunities, it is just teaching you want. Is it through teaching that you will buy a car? That's what she mentioned. Is it through teaching that you will have money? It sank. That time I was managing my airtime. I bought like 100 or 200 airtime. I was managing it to pay a senior sister. On top of my airtime, somebody was destructively but constructively. It was meant to destroy me. It constructively empowered me. After that, I said, I know fit the poor. I know go. I know fit. I started saving money. So my first attempt was to buy a car. As a civil anyway, not to please her, but I needed it. I want it. As a civil servant, I was saving. Thank God, I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't chase women. So the money that I would have used for these three major things, they were intact. Yes, now, some of you are here. You maintain 3 girlfriends at 3 different institutions. Why wouldn't you be poor? Anyway, let me leave that. Maybe on a good day, I will host you with some of these things. So finally, God helped me. I bought a car, Toyota Corolla, red and very beautiful. So one of the days I went to the village, I heard she came back. I said, Lord, help me to give her a lift. But unfortunately, I don't know whether she had my prayer. She disappeared before I could say, hi, why did you escape? And then my wife finished from medical school as a medical doctor. I ordered money for Akura MDX, the letters at that time. I ordered, I saved and saved and saved. My money couldn't get to that point. So I said, this man, hold this money. I will still complete it for you. But don't tell anybody that I bought on credit. And she was doing oath taking, induction. And the car landed. Jeep. And I was able to put it, I snapped it when I was very active on Facebook. I'm no longer active because a lot of yahoo. As a professional, I want to grow myself more. I don't know when last I visited Facebook, but I visit LinkedIn often. It's a secret I'm giving to you. Because sometimes after visiting Facebook and coming back, you are shattered and battered and depressed. So I posted it there for the world to see that the Lord is good. And I know she saw it. The best answer for those who think you will not succeed, don't fight them. Use success to reply them. Use success to reply them. And then when I went to the US, when I came back, my cousin told me that the elder brother of that person was saying, hi, because that marriage, of course, from that thing, it didn't. One of them said, hi, as in if you had agreed for me to marry their sister, to be that our in-law, using it to brag. Ladies and gentlemen, life is all about how you want it to be. And in Jane Austen, myself, the panelists, and every other person that has contributed to this, we are saying one thing. It is possible to rewrite the history of your family. And it takes a process. Don't be like Yahoo person. I want to get rich now. Life is a process and is in stages. One of the things that, today I used to imagine that the Almighty God that can command everything to appear once. The Bible says he did this the first day. He did this the second day. He created the universe. It took him 6 days. So if God maintains process and protocol, then that means that is the principle of life. You don't just want to be like Austin. You don't just want to be like Dr. Manuel. There is a process. And I want to ask you to be diligent enough to pass through necessary crucibles in life that will prepare you for who you are. And I plead with you, this is my last word for you for now. Do not disappoint the expectations of your parents. You may not know the secret prayers of your mother, your father. You may not know the kind of constructive or destructive criticisms they are passing through that are just hoping in you that one day you will wipe away generational tears. Not just their own tears. Their fathers, your grandfather, and their forefathers had cried. And they are waiting for the manifestation of you so that these generational tears will be wiped away completely. And generations to come will have a good background to start. Poverty is not good. It's rough. If you want to know the texture, it is rough. I wish that God will use you to rewrite the history of your family. Having said this, I'm going to over the microphone after doing this exercise. I had wanted to get the list. Engineer Austin has sponsored this program, including all arrangement you're seeing. Just that sometimes when you plan, it doesn't really work out the way, but I'm happy the comportment. You can't kill yourself when things are not working the way they should. And of course, in Nigeria here, MTN, sometimes the network will fly in and fly out. But we're happy that the program held and it was a very big success. In addition to some of these things, he had also given some money as an award, or yes, award to some persons. I've not been able to choose from the participants, but from the list, I've already had maybe 50% persons to be awarded based on what I've observed all this while. Maybe 50% could be done by is it balloting or just by chance? Even though no, I don't want to use the word chance because nothing happens by chance. I will be deliberate. But I just want to say this for you to appreciate him. 120,000 has been mapped to appreciate and reward some persons from here. And in my thinking, if it permits, 120 divided by 12 should be what? 10. So 10,000 naira will go to 12 persons for being part of this program. Once again, I thank you. Make sure that your name is list. Engineer Austin and I were building a database of participants that we may not wait till one more year to call you or clarify some kind of issues or confusion you may be having, so that we'll have your contact, your phone number, your department. This will help us to continue to build a database of beyond the campus participants. We had it last year. This is the second edition. And I know that third edition will be far greater than this. Once again, thank you for coming. God bless.
All right. Thank you all for coming. And, special thanks to the people who gave of their time, publicity, planning, and especially to the moderators. So you really did an amazing job. He knows I was afraid at the beginning, but here we are. So there's also just one thing I wanted to add. We had Beyond Campus last year, and there was a particular lady that came here that year. I'm not going to say too much about her because yeah, she's in the process of leaving the country, but she's still in the country. When somebody is in the process of leaving the country but still in the country, I don't talk much about it. I think you know why. Okay, so she came here last year, and it's a very unique story, but because she's still in the country, I can't describe it fully. But I met her sometime in 2023. Met her somewhere. We came in soccer here. She finished her year. told me a story of how she finished school. Just came back from the service, then left, came back in 2024, met her just around the same, at the same spot where I met her. And we were talking, she said she had the first class, and I was like, so what are you doing? She told me what she was doing. Like, well, the first class was doing something. It had to discuss for, I think it was 2 days to beyond 2024. And she came. So sometime last month, I think beginning of last month, she sent me a message that she had just got a job as a teaching assistant in France. So people did not hear me well. So she sent me a message that she had got a job as a teaching assistant in France. And if I told you the full story, you will appreciate the full picture better. But I will not tell you the full story now. So the summary is that she has got a job in France, and she will be going to France hopefully by God's grace sometime in September. She's somewhere in Abuja at the moment. I believe she's somewhere connected to this program. She has gone for her visa interviews and all that kind of things. So the one thing you can do for her is to pray for her, wish her well, and let her story be motivation to you. You can dream, you can work on your dreams, and you can make it. And I don't know if the online people can still hear me, but we'll do something to support the process of a visa process financially. I won't tell you how much, but definitely as Academy of Scholarships and Transitions, we'll do something to support the process of getting her visa, because again, this is somebody trying to rewrite the story of her background, and the background is not really, you know what I mean. But we do our best. By God's grace, we are believing that she'll get that visa. So the next time I come back here, I want to share another success story, and that might be you, it might be you, it might be you, it might just be any one of you. Thanks so much for coming. And before we go, we have a closing prayer by Pastor Barrister Bubu Richard, and also there is light refreshment. I'm looking for it. I can't see. Okay, so is it the logistics people? Do we have any of you here? So people will take care of it. And I think we just need to do something unique too before we go. This lady was the first person that came into this place today. Just standing in front of you. No, yes. So, so as a way of rewarding that that commitment to timekeeping, maybe she's the only one that takes just some money from us to say that punctuality is very important in life. So it doesn't disqualify you from any other thing that you qualify for, but keeping to that time was very, very important. 10 o'clock was like 9:58, I think, and that's very amazing. Thanks so much. Then we have a word of prayers before the food, so that once you are done eating, you can go home. Or if you want to do takeaway, you can also take away. But it's not right. Anyways, thank you so much.
Praise the Lord. Before I pray, I want to acknowledge the efforts of Dr. Kafo. Last year, I was so overwhelmed with the benefits of the program that it escaped my mind to thank him and also to show appreciation for his commitment to this success of this program. Dr. Kafo, I thank you very much. You have been consistent, and the reward we are expecting is that the effort will bear fruits. Most of you, in few years to come, will be hearing wonderful testimonies of what God has done in your life through this program. And honestly, I felt a bit disappointed because of the hitches that obstructed, they don't allow us to hear very well from the resource persons. But notwithstanding, you are already connected, one way or the other. I will advise you also to visit Augustine's Facebook page, LinkedIn. He's all over social media. You can learn a lot there that can help you get scholarship abroad. It's not rocket science. It's just for you to know the right things to do. And for some of you that are even maybe 200 level, you can build up those things from now so that it will be easier for you. And I pray God will help all of us in Jesus' name. Shall we pray? In Jesus' mighty name we pray. Our Father, we thank you for your goodness. Thank you for your mercies. Thank you for your faithfulness. We thank you for bringing our brother Augustine all the way from Scotland. You helped him throughout the period he stayed in Lagos. And now he arrives safely, irrespective of the situation, security situation, and other things. You have been kind and merciful. We also thank you for all the people that played one part or the other in the success of this program. Father, we thank you for those that participated in the publicity. Thank you for everyone who made discreet efforts to ensure that this program is what it is today. Dear Father, we give you all the glory in Jesus' name. I thank you particularly for Dr. Okafor, who has consistently facilitated this program. Father, he will not lose his reward. And for all the participants, Lord, I pray you open their eyes. That what they could not hear clearly from the resource persons, the story they were telling about how they got to where they are, and the counsels they are giving to younger generations, because if it affects one person, it affects the whole nation. For that reason, Lord, our desire is that you raise men and women in this nation that will be profitable to their families, profitable to society, and profitable to themselves. Lord, I pray you do it in our lives of all the people here in Jesus' name. Help them, O Lord, to build the character and the habit that promotes success, that creates pathways for success. All those evil influence in society that derail men, that cause them to suddenly find themselves falling backwards, that will not be their portion in Jesus' name. I pray that you help each of them to be focused in life, to know the direction he or she is going. And beyond that, oh Lord, I pray that your mercy will follow them, and they may know you, the only true God, and Jesus Christ, whom thou hast sent. Because true success can only come from God. I pray you energize and help all of them. I pray for greater opportunities in future for beyond campus, that in 2026, oh Lord, you open another door. And many people will benefit in Jesus' name. Lord Jehovah, I pray that you help every one of them. Whatever is their challenge, whatever is their problem, is it finance? Is it that they cannot capture what they learn easily? I pray that from henceforth there will be a definite change in Jesus' name. We thank you, Lord, for our mercies. We also pray for journey mercies for every participant and for the resource persons that contributed very well today. You also meet their needs wherever they are in Jesus' name. And I pray that the period of God will be around, you will protect him. And on his way back, you will also secure him and grant him journey mercy in Jesus' name. Thank you, Lord, because you know you've answered. Father, we also have something to just, little snack and a little drink. I pray, Lord, as we take it, let it be a nourishment to our body in Jesus' name. Thank you, Lord, for the answer. For in Jesus' mighty name we pray. Amen.